to get into the world of football, talk about everything happening on the pitch, off the pitch, everything that makes football thick. That's what we get to do right here on Just Football on your integrity dial, Splash 105.5 FM. Welcome to the show. Blessing Fowowe here, reporting for duty the Super Wednesday afternoon. And my friends are here in the studio, and I'll be bringing them on board in a bit. Femighty is here, Daniel is here as well, and together we're going to be riding on the show today as we get you into some of the latest and, well, perhaps some of the things that gotten every one of us talking, especially in the world of football, and, well, not just in Nigeria, but hey, everything you can think of. Yes, we'll get to talk about that today right here on your integrity dial. It is Just Football. We're live on Facebook. You can find us there to be a part of our show at any point in time. I know you're probably itching to talk about on the 23, probably itching to talk about football on the Nigerian scene, probably itching to talk about Salisu Yusuf. I mean, whatever it is that you have on your mind, please feel free to be a part of the show by reaching out to us on our Facebook fan page. We're streaming there. You can leave your comment on our live stream there on Facebook. You can also share the links to your friend. Tell them to join us on the show this afternoon. Well, not just football from the home scene. Well, the MPFL is back. We'll talk about that today as well. And we'll also be looking into what's happening outside of the shores of Africa, particularly. And in the Premier League today, they've announced 2 inductees into the Hall of Fame. And guess who? The first 2 managers who were inducted. Okay, I mean, I'll be surprised if we're in the first 2 anyway to be inducted. In fact, I thought they should have started with these 2 guys, these 2 men who redefined Premier League when Premier League is the Premier League anyway, but of course, you cannot talk about the history of Premier League without talking about these 2 men. And we'll get into talk about that today as well on the show today. Femighty, it's great to see you. Good afternoon. What's good?
Good afternoon to you, Blessing. Good afternoon to our wonderful listener. It's good to be back here this wonderful Wednesday afternoon. I mean, it's going to be the last Just Football for the month of March.
Really?
And
2023 is running. I didn't even know.
As in, well, it is also marking today is like the final day of the international break. I thought it was yesterday, but I discovered that there is a game on the African scene today. I think the game is currently ongoing right now.
It feels to look like the longest international break anyway.
Honestly, we were talking about it, during the while we were upstairs, and I think it was Boss Clef that said, look, this international break should better come and go. And I for the first time, I actually agreed. Before now, I usually enjoyed the international break to an extent, but this time, even I can agree that it's been quite drab and uninspiring.
Maybe not exactly drab and uninspiring. I was speaking in terms of the length. Like, ordinarily, you expect maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and we're done.
It's usually the length. A week plus. 1 full week, and then by the following Tuesday, Wednesday, players will start returning back to their clubs. It's basically 1.5 weeks. I think it's just felt longer. It's the standard international break time. It's just felt longer because we haven't had so many interesting, or should I say, mind-blowing action during this particular break. But then it's good to be back here. The Premier League inductees, I mean, these are men who had their eras. I mean, there was the era and then there was the other era. So it is good. And I honestly, I share your feeling. It felt like it was a little bit of an insult to them. Not being the first set of persons to be in that Hall of Fame. I felt like maybe the Premier League goofed a little bit there. Maybe they realized later that, hey, we should have started with these guys. But then it's better late than never. Now they're there and it's totally deserved. It's good to be back here this afternoon.
Okay, and Daniel Mayokun is also on the show. The Super Wednesday afternoon. Daniel, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to our listeners. It's good to be here. They say charity begins at home. And that is Shooting Stars. They have to win today. I mean, they just have to. But then again, playing a very
against Plateau
opponent, which is Plateau United. So it's a win for Shooting Stars. Else, I think there will be a problem for them.
On a normal day, this is the kind of game I would take a draw. But then, for the kind of circumstance we are right now, we can't afford a draw.
Okay,
they need all the 3 points.
Let our charity begin from what happened yesterday before we come talk about Shooting Stars. That game is not starting until another 1 hour or less. Let our charity start from the 23, the Salisu Yusuf led team. They're supposed to be the dream team. I mean, we always have dream teams.
It's like the nightmare team right now.
They are not dreaming actually. Goalless in Abuja in the first leg last Wednesday, and yesterday they lost 2-0 to Guinea in the second leg, meaning that they will not be qualifying. They will not be at the under 23 AFCONs, and also means that they won't have a chance to qualify for the Olympic Games. That's it will be the second edition of the Olympic back-to-back, as a matter of fact, that Nigeria will not be presenting a football team for the event. Well, some who are fans of other sports, would say, well, they're not quite mad about that. I'm saying that because I've met somebody who essentially reports athletics, and before the last Olympics, it was practically telling me, well, he's very happy that Nigeria was not presenting a football team at the Olympics because
now they can focus
number one, because exactly, they can focus on other sports, and then number one, football comes with just one medal. But that is, just by the side. But let's talk about this team now itself. Femighty, Salisu Yusuf is record recently with the under-23 team. With the NFF generally, let me just say under-23 team. It didn't do well with Chan. Under-23 AFCON. Now he has bungled the Olympics as well.
And if we may add, his last performances generally also got Kano Pillars relegated. For the first time in about
seventh with Enugu Rangers when he was in charge of the team. But if you were Musa Gusso, what exactly would you be doing?
Well, I don't want to sound ungrateful and I don't want to sound vindictive, but I'm just going to say that if I were Shehu Gusso, I would thank him very much for his service to his country, appreciate him very much, and just send him on his way. I don't think he has any more to give to Nigerian football. I think he has tried, but then I think he's also a man that time has left behind. I'm not sure he's the man to take Nigerian football to the future. And the kind of teams that they are putting him in charge of are developmental teams, are teams that need to reshape, or should I say we need to shape the future, the kind of football that will play in our future years. So I'm not going to say, if I want to be vindictive, I will say it shouldn't have come back after the whole allegation and the whole suspension. It should have been eased out of Nigerian football during that time. But there were talks about Genotro wanted him, specifically asked for him. Fine, Genotro is gone now. That era is gone. I think it's time for Salisu Yusuf to take a step away totally from Nigerian national teams because it feels like they have been rebranding him. 1 minute is with Chan, the other minute is with the Olympic Eagles.
And you see, the way he was warmed back into coaching after that coach.
The next minute is somehow inserted into the backroom staff of the Super Eagles coach. I think it's time for him to hands off totally from Nigerian football and go find something else to do. He's been in the Nigerian football scene now in and out for about almost 10 years. So I think it's time for him to take a step away from the Nigerian football scene. I don't think he has anything else to give to the Nigerian football scene. I would say, let me just add this quickly. We had this, do you know that, Blessing? I saw this particular problem since we played Tanzania in Ibadan here. That we saw it at the Adamawa Stadium. But the problem with Nigerians is once you win, every other thing that may look like a problem doesn't matter until we lose. Then we start doing as if. I saw that this team had a problem against Tanzania. We struggled. We played draw against Tanzania away, and here in Nigeria we struggled to beat Tanzania. And from that game in Abuja also, which I was opportune to see a couple of minutes of, there was nothing, absolutely nothing from that game. And at the end of the day, it finally fell apart. And it's going to happen again. There was nothing in the Super Eagles game against Guinea-Bissau, the away game. But, people are saying at least they won. We could have not won that game. So it's a problem. It's a problem, but it's been a problem long coming. And if you look at the composition of that under-23 team, I was only praying that a miracle would happen. Unfortunately, miracles don't go to the unprepared.
They say in the field of observation, this is from one of my microbiology books back in the university, said in the field of observation, time and chance favors the prepared mind. But to Nigerian, the age grade team now, generally, how things have been going for Nigeria. I saw fans on social media yesterday practically calling for Samson Siasia when will his ban be over there for him to return, and because he seems to have been the one who have done best with this Olympic team, with everyone who have been coming and going on this spot. But generally speaking, now I don't want to blame Gusso, the president, so
He just
much.
came on
because he
board.
just came on board.
No, this is
is
still,
what he inherited.
This is still on Pinnick.
But it's part and parcel of it.
Is what he inherited. But Daniel, what would you have him do at this point?
Well, you talked about something else here. We don't. It's not. It's. I mean, we have all the good coaches. It's just for you to just harness the talent they have in them and just showcase them to the country and to the world at large. Now, coming back to Alhaji Gusso, he has been in this system for a long time ago. Alhaji Gusso is not new into this system.
He was chairman of chairman. He has been in the NFF Executive Council for almost a decade now.
You're trying to cut him some slack because he just, becomes the new NFF president. Well, I wouldn't cut him some slack. He has been in this system.
He was part of the decision-making process.
Exactly. So, the way it is now, I mean, from under 17 to under 20 to under 23
to super,
even the so-called Super Eagles, even the Falconets, it's been shambolic.
Both ways.
Now look at what Senegal is doing from all their great age, and it's working for them. This year alone, I mean, last year stroke this year, they've won everything in the continent, both at club, both at national team, even the CHAN. So Alhaji Gusso needs to, go back to, the fundamental and look for all this. You talked about Cecia. I don't know exactly when his ban is going to finish. When his ban we need him back, to be honest. He has, I think it's the only bright light we have in the past, and even up to now. So if you refer him to the past, it still remain till now because the past is still working for him till now. Which means we don't have.
Why are we having to go back to Samson Siasia? Why can't we look to the future? Siasia is suspended.
So that's why
Siasia might not even return to coaching
I don't
ever.
know when he's. I don't think so.
Because he has an issue with sports.
But then
has he even been able to raise money to appeal his sanction to begin with?
I think they've delivered the judgment and reduced his ban to 4 years.
Yes.
So I think he may be back very soon. Honestly.
So you think when he returns, the NFL should go cap in hand to him?
And some other, look for other coaches as well.
Honestly,
really?
if you ask me, I think we still need Samson Siasia in the Nigerian coaching scene, and that's because the home-based, especially if we want to decide that the way to go after Pesero. Now there are rumors that Pesero's initial contract ends in June. I'm not sure if it's June this year.
He signs an 18-month contract. So I think it's next year, actually.
No, I think next year, and when that contract expires, is not going to be extended. Now, if we want to plan from now till then we would say that when Pesero leaves, let's hand over this team to an home-based coach. Now, the problem is, of all the home-based coaches that we've got right now, Nigerian coaches, there are only 2 people that I can entrust with the Super Eagles coach that I think, the Super Eagles job, that I think they have the temperament and maybe the technical know-how to navigate it. One is Samson Siasia, the other is Emmanuel Amunike. Emmanuel Amunike self will be on trust because he has not really performed, apart from the Tanzania. I think he was the one that took Tanzania to the African Cup of Nations and was not allowed, to qualify them for the Cup of Nations and was not allowed. Apart from the Tanzania job, he hasn't followed that up, recently. But I was still on trust Emmanuel Amunike with the national team job. So I think the problem is we have a set of home-based coaches that either past their prime or that they are still upcoming. I would personally say that, look, all this, with all due respect, Daddy Ladamboso and others that we are giving our developmental teams to coach. So our developmental teams needs to start becoming a grooming ground. If we want to play a certain way in the Super Eagles of Nigeria, let it start from the under 17. Let it graduate to the under 20s. Let it move to the under 23. So by the time, if a few of them happens to graduate into the Super Eagles of Nigeria, by the time they get into the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they have that style of play already enshrined in them. And I would say, give our under 17s to these upcoming and trust them with this. Deji Ayeni, Daniel Ogumodede, Fidelis Lechuku, and some other young coaches in the MPFL. I think Salisu Yusuf doing the Kano Pillars job last season and still being in the Super Eagles of Nigeria shows that they can do both. I think we should start trusting some of these managers with the national team jobs.
Young managers. Well, we're not done with this discussion around Super Eagles. I was going to around Nigerian football generally, but since the guys already dragged this into Super Eagles, I was going to talk about Joseph Pesero, who came out on his Instagram page yesterday to apologize and not apologize actually. He was pleading for patience and also promising better time with the team. I mean, to build, to understand just to build, trying to understand the team and also be able to build a team that he believes will challenge. And I stumbled on an interview Alex Iwobi granted on a podcast where he spoke about the issues Nigerian football players have when it's time for them to represent the national team. But we're going to take a very quick commercial break first and foremost, and when we return, I'll get right into that. It is still Just Football right here on Splash 105.5 FM.
Splash FM 105.5.
Ẹ̀yin ọmọ yìí, ó máa dá àkàrà nǹkan díẹ̀ sílẹ̀ fún Ramadan yìí. Ó yá kí ni kára.
Èso. Ewébẹ̀, ẹ má gbàgbé ìṣara lóore àwọn màmá o, 3 crowns milk.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́ta.
Rárá o, 6.
Ó dáa. Torí kó jẹ́ màmá, ara agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́jọ.
Ìṣúra aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ làwọn màmá. Torí náà, fẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn sí màmá pẹ̀lú 3 crowns milk lákòókò Ramadan yìí.
3 crowns milk, ìlera àwọn màmá, ayọ̀ ẹbí.
My people, better don land. Make una come see ogbonge cable wey dem manufacture for we obodo Nigeria. Na Pure Cables. Pure Cables na correct electrical cable wey dey reliable, dependable, and the people wey dem make am call dey safety conscious. Pure Cables get original copper and aluminium cable for different sizes dem wey you fit use for electrical wiring level for anywhere. Whether na your house, abi na your office, the price nko e no dey tear pocket at all. Nationwide distribution don start. For more information, call 0808 030 3257. 0808 030 3257. Pure Cable and Wire Limited. They have print compound. 40 gate 122/132. Also the Apapa Expressway. Iyano Solo Bus Stop, Lagos. Pure Cables. Nigerian electrical contractors endorse SON approval. Pure Cables. Na Yubico.
Màámi, ṣé gbogbo ife Bonvita ilẹ̀ fẹ́ pín?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ó ṣàmọ̀ pé àkókò yìí ní ṣe pẹ̀lú nǹkan pínpín.
Torí ẹ̀ ní Bonvita ṣe ń pín 50 gíráàmù lórí ìdí alátùrọ̀ onígíráàmù 104 kọ̀ọ̀kan. Àwọn ife wọ̀nyí á jẹ́ ti bọ̀dá Musa, alábàágbé wa, ìyàwó wọn, Uncle K.
Lákòókò yìí, ẹ jẹ́ gbádùn àfikún 50 gíráàmù lórí ìdí Bonvita alátùrọ̀ 104 gíráàmù tẹ́ bá rà. Ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí àfikún ìṣaralóore dídára ti Bonvita. Bonvita, ó kún fún èròǹgbà rere.
Now that you have finished WAEC exams, what's next? Enroll for A-level program at OBMS Cambridge Advanced Level College, Total Garden, Ibadan for Cambridge A-level or JUPEP A-level programs. It is your best option for admission to 200 level in Nigerian universities or admissions to overseas universities. We are known for excellent teaching and outstanding results with seasoned and full-time teachers, affordable fees, moral and spiritual development of students. We have boarding facilities. Enroll now and join the award-winning team at OBMS Advanced Level College, Total Garden, Ibadan. We also offer SAT, TOEFL, IELTS, and more. For more information, visit us at Orita Mefa Baptist Mission Schools, Queen Elizabeth Road, Total Garden, Ibadan. Website, www.oritamefabaptistschools.com. Phone number, 080-338-61091. Orita Mefa Baptist Mission Schools. Excellence through integrity.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids the new Milo 3-in-1. Milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo!
Ibadan, get ready for a heavenly visitation. This Good Friday, the wind of healing, miracles, and breakthroughs will sweep you into your next level. Come join the Next Level Prayer Conference with Pastor Bolaji Do, happening live this Good Friday, the 7th of April 2023 at the Liberty Stadium by 5:30 p.m. Ministering Adeyinka Alasheyori, Joshua Israel, and Difumi Enyidero. Family curses will be broken. Years of shame will be ended. Sicknesses will be terminated, and your secret prayers will receive public answers. It is time.
It is time to exchange your troubles for a breakthrough. So come with friends and loved ones, because there is a testimony for everyone.
The Next Level Prayer Conference 2023 on the 7th of April. Save the date and see you there.
Every day is a good day when you've got what it takes. Cowbell evaporated milk gives your body what it needs. Ain't nourished, no. Happy Cowbell Day, creamy goodness, so.
Cowbell evaporated milk is delicious milk that is carefully formulated to retain its creaminess and great taste.
So creamy, so good.
Cowbell evaporated milk. So creamy, so good.
Cowbell, I want milk.
Splash FM 105.5.
Okay, welcome back from that break. It is still Joshua right here on Splash 105.5 FM. Lots of arguments off air concerning Nigerian football, particularly on Samson Siasia. Well, before we went to that break, I said I was going to talk about Alex Iwobi and what he said about the challenges that players face whenever they have to come represent Nigeria. And before that, I also mentioned Pesero, who is pleading for patience and also promising that the team would get better with time. Now, recently, Alex Iwobi was on the Beautiful Game podcast, and he spoke on some challenges that players faced representing the national team and the way forward. And somewhere in that interview, it touched on one thing that many of us have always talked about, the pitch and the numerous home grounds where they get to change from here. Always changing home grounds from Asaba today to you tomorrow to Lagos, next tomorrow to Abuja the next. I mean, he mentioned all of those things and some of the challenges that the players get to face whenever they are representing or putting on the green, white, green jersey. This interview is courtesy of the Beautiful Game podcast. We're going to take a minute to listen to Alex Iwobi real quick, and I'll get the guy's opinion on the things that he has said.
We still have a lot to learn. Like, even as a team, learn about ourselves. The team's still young. That's one thing I can promise Nigerian fans, that as much as the talent is still there, we're still young, we're still learning the game. So that only Lord knows where we could be in a couple of years' time. So just be patient, because we are trying. Be patient.
So, okay, you're trying, but in terms of, do you think you need that assistance from above in terms of, infrastructure? Because that's what obviously Leon was talking about, and we speak a lot about the development of Nigerian football because we want to see it grow.
Yeah.
You understand? So do you need that sort of synergy to match the ability? You need that governance.
I'm not gonna say something that gets me in trouble. But for example, like our pitch, we don't know if we're gonna have a nice pitch when we play. Like, obviously we got a new coach now, and we played Sierra Leone, but we just about beat them 2-1. Difficult game. Then we played Sao Tome and beat them 10-0, but we played on a great pitch. A lot of us play in Europe now, so like we're playing on great pitches where it's easy to just manipulate the ball, let the ball do the work, play freely. If we had that in Nigeria, I feel like it would be difficult to beat us. I'm confident enough to say that not many teams can beat us. So like, to start with, just for example, like having a good pitch, if you have that, I feel like we'll be unstoppable.
So when you say that, do you mean like as in a home stadium, or like a St. George's?
Just a pitch with grass.
So you're not even asking for much. Just a
pitch of grass, level grass, no crops. Like, get me, just grass, innit?
Okay, because when Leon came on, he was saying that we need like something like a St. George's Park, where there's like a complex.
Yeah, at least we could. But that's the thing about Nigeria. Like, I don't know what goes on behind, but we could end up playing in Asaba. You could play in Lagos. You could play in Abuja. You could play anywhere. We don't know. But like, at the same time, I do get where they come from. Everyone wants to watch Nigeria, and Nigeria's quite a big nation. So, but at the same time, it would be nice to have one base where we know this is going to be where we're playing. We know how it's going to be patterned. We know how it's going to be organised. Know the hotel we're staying at. Know the food we're getting. We know the service. So everything's easy. But we just I'm going to. I don't know where I'm gonna play, sort of thing.
Okay, there you have Alex Iwobi speaking on the Beautiful Game podcast there. Speaking of the challenges that the players get to face every time they put on the green, white, green with Nigeria. They're not sure where they're playing. They're not sure what grass it is they're going to meet. But he talked about it would be nice having one home ground. Do you agree with that, Daniel?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't be taking them to today, Kaduna, tomorrow, Abuja. It really, psychologically, it affects them. And of course, they a particular stadium they are used to, it will help them, give them the advantage. And even the fans as well, too, will be able to trip out to come support them. They are used with the fans. But today, you take them to Abuja, tomorrow to Kaduna. Just like I said, it's totally disheartening that they don't even know where they're playing their next game. And that's sad. And how do you expect these young lads to give out their best? It's just, I mean, they can't give out their everything. I mean, compared to where it comes from playing in Europe, most of these players, less than 95% of them, not even 95, 100% of them, almost all of them play their trade in Europe, because you hardly see one or two home base even playing, in the main Super Eagles team. So it's everything is basically there for them, and that bears in mind. You see, most of these players, they don't want to play for the national team. They don't mind even playing for Iran national team when they know their future is secured. I mean, if not for the likes of the little ones, I mean, Alex Iwobi, Victor Moses, and probably those ones that doesn't feel like, okay, they're not good enough, they don't have a future. All right, across probably in England or whatever the country is, let's come back and just, okay, fine, let's play for the country. But when they have the talent, they don't want to come here. Having just, a debut for England is far better than playing for Nigeria. I mean, having 100 caps in Nigeria. And that's exactly what he's talking about, where they don't even know where the next pitch, where they will play the next match. It's really absurd.
Femighty, Nigeria is not the only nation that gets to take a national team from one venue to the other. I mean, we know of countries where, you can say perhaps they have good pitches around in those nations, but the idea of having one home ground, one recognized place that, yes, this is where we get to play every time. Does that sit well with you?
Yes, it does. And I think that's what the current Minister of Youth and Sport, Sunday Dare, was trying to enshrine when he insisted that from now henceforth that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will play in Abuja, their base will be in Abuja, all their home games will be in Abuja. I think that is what he was trying to do, which is correct. I mean, from the beginning, the initial thought of home, of a team playing at home, is playing in a turf where, number one, they feel at home in. Number one, they know very well because they've played so many times there. And because of the fact that they know that turf very well, they have some sort of an advantage over the opponent, apart from now going to the crowd, which is the 12th man and all that. But the fact that they know the turf very well. For example, yesterday, Scotland played against Spain at the Hampden Park, which is the home of Scottish national team. And one of the things that some of the Spanish, by the way, Scotland beat Spain. Yeah. One of the Spanish player complained that the grass was very high. The
captain.
That the grass was very high. And it was alien to the Spanish players. But the Scottish players are just flowing because they were used to that already. And that is the idea of having a home. But even when your own home is alien to you, when you are not used to the place you call home, then it's no longer, it's a home away from home. And I think that's what the number one thing that, Alex Iwobi was talking about. Number two thing is the quality of the pitches. Honestly, how many quality pitches do we have in Nigeria? I mean, did you see, even the person was saying that the pitch that they played on in Guinea-Bissau was better than our Abuja stadium. And it affects them because, I used to say, I think I told someone that, look, these guys, when you want to go and bring Ferrari, you have to provide the road that Ferrari will ride on, or else you coach us Ferrari no label no when. We said we want to go and import this half Oyibo, half Nigerian boys. These guys don't know how to play on our bad pitches. They are used to, if it was all these boys that came from the Nigerian Professional Football League and then traveled abroad, we say that they already know the terrain. But if you are going to import all these foreign nationals and we want to bring them, we have to provide them with what they are already used to. And so far, we are not. So honestly, I doubt if we can request for more than they are giving us. Because, look at that Abuja Stadium, for example. You could tell from watching that those players were uncomfortable. You could tell that those players couldn't express themselves properly on that kind of stuff. So yeah, it has a point to an extent, but where I also disagree is, would we say that the pitch at the African Cup of Nations at the World Cup are not okay? Why haven't we won?
They may not be up to standard with the ones they play with in Europe, but of course, it's not as bad as what we have back in Nigeria. So what's the problem?
I would say that the last African Cup of Nations in Cameroon, we had good turfs.
Yeah,
we had good turfs. In 2018, the last time we were at the World Cup, France provided good pitches. So what happened? So it's not about, at least it's part of the problem. It's part of the problem.
Okay, what do you make of those comments coming from Alex Gobi? By the way, that interview was just before we played, before they came to Nigeria to play Guinea-Bissau. What do you make of those comments? We're live on Facebook. You can go there to share your thoughts. Please hold off on the calls a bit. We will take the calls very soon, but not now. Get on our Facebook fan page or streaming live for you to leave your thoughts with us. Away from Nigerian football, still in Nigerian football scene, but away from the national teams now with the NPFL. Football is a big business, and that's why an asset management outfit who are now strategic partners of the IMC, they are saying that they are projecting a period where NPFL players will be earning 10 million naira in monthly salary. 10 million naira in monthly salary. By the way, the winners of the league this season will be getting 100 million naira. And I feel like it's actually laudable. I mean, it's what one.
You mean the 100 million naira or the 10 million?
The 10 million.
100 million naira is not bad. Yes, it's very good. But the 10 million naira a month. I mean, projecting where we'll get to that point where players earn 10 million naira minimum base salary, 10 million naira a month. I think it's okay, but a part of me feels it's always going to be a subset of what the entire society feels like for us to get there.
It's just talk. It's just talk. Look, before we can talk about that, we need to develop the clubs. We need to make the clubs viable. Are we even taking steps to make the club viable? Are we trying to take the clubs out of the hands of the government? We need the clubs needs to start becoming a profit-making organization. That's the only way internal generated revenue of a club can be in hundreds of millions to the extent, because if you have a minimum of 30 players in the squad and you are paying each player 10 million naira, and there are some who earn more than that, at least you're paying each player. At least
your wage bill will be about
minimum 300 to 400 million.
Minimum.
And if the wages of players alone, not talk of coaching crew and others,
logistics,
we're talking about $1 billion naira per month expense club. If we are to have such in Nigeria, we'll have to invest in the clubs, making them a profit-making venture. What are we doing about that? Or we are just projecting in the air? Because if we have heard all these talks before, what are we doing? What are the steps? See, this thing is about laying down a plan. What plan have we laid down to make sure that in a couple of years, this is not actually just talk, but it is realizable? As far as I'm concerned, if our clubs, or is 90 to 95 to 98% of clubs continue to stay in the hands of government and are not profitable organizations, this is impossible.
I mean, thankfully you mentioned that, because that was what I was going to interject and ask. Perhaps they were thinking we would get to that point where there will be private investors owning the clubs.
What are we put in place?
Maybe not taking these clubs out of the hands of the government, because it might be hard to take them off.
Owning clubs,
owning new clubs, and gradually shifting the atmosphere.
Maybe so I don't seem like a pessimist. I want to say maybe this is a new era. Maybe they are about to start laying some foundations, because I know that the last couple of private owners that have come into the NPFL have had to fold up. E.g. FC Fowowe, E.g. Kada City Star, E.g.
MFM. Recently FC Fowowe folding up. I think the owner also has something to do with that.
But then the
climate of the league.
E.g. Kada City FC, E.g. recently MFM. So we can't have that much private individuals pulling out of our leagues, and we are talking about this kind of achievements. We need to do something that will pull private investors into our league. Maybe that's one of the reasons why it feels like the IMC this season have hammered a lot about our officiating, fair and unbiased officiating. Maybe that's a starting point. I don't know. But I want to say, if we don't work on making these our clubs profitable ventures, actually business ventures in the real slogan of it, we are still joking.
But as some fold, some will continue to come on board onto the scene. I mean, if you look into the NNL, the grassroots amateur competition,
there are so many private
clubs.
Up.
I mean, they are doing very good with investment
and with promise also.
To an extent.
We have a couple of them, a couple of promising ones actually. If they can continue on this path, I mean, you and I know a couple of them. So I think it's just
we're going to have one of them on this show.
Yeah,
one day.
It's just about encouraging them, giving them enabling environment to grow and get to the MPFL. I would like to see a situation where we have at least 7 to 8 privately owned clubs in the MPFL. If that can happen in the next 2 years, then I can finally say maybe we are getting somewhere.
Okay, maybe indeed we are getting there. Daniel, let's talk about the games coming up today. And Abia Warriors will be taking on Enugu Rangers at 4 p.m. That's a couple of minutes from now. Bendel Insurance, table toppers against Aqua United. And here we have their coach, the coach of Aqua United, who has been saying that, that's the INE, says Bendel Insurance are not invincible. This team went to Aba, people 1-0 draw against Enyimba in the last match day.
Well,
Daniel, are they invincible indeed?
Well, they are not.
Or
well,
do you
so
agree?
far,
do you agree with that? The
INE
here.
So far, the 4 standards they are invincible. I mean, you could see the way they are grinding out results, home and away, not just home alone. In Nigerian League, you talked about you win all your home. And away, whatever you see there, probably you get a draw, even if you lose. But most importantly, win your home, get the 3 points. That's more important. But Bendel United are going even away, get 3 points, and come back home, get 3 points. And I mean, nobody saw that coming. You all think, okay, because they're from the NNL, they can't, do much. And they just...
I don't think it's just about coming from the NNL. If you look into that team as well, they've got sponsorship.
Yes,
got sponsorship from some private investment. So I think that should mean something.
In fact, it's a government club almost run like a private club. But I want to say, I think the Giant is just trying to psych his players because the last match day made it match day 10. Which means that
10 games,
which means that they've played all their 9 opponents at least once, including this Aqua United that is making mount now. They've played them once and they were not able to beat them. So I think if that is not what is called invincible, being invincible, then I don't know what it is. Maybe second leg, something might happen, but already they have proven that they can play all the teams in that group, all the 9 other teams in that group, and avoid defeat.
Okay, and to other games, we have Shooting Stars who are also in action as well today. We have Shooting Stars at home to Plateau United. I don't understand this, your deep breath. Anyway, Sunshine Stars are taking on Duma United. I keep saying Sunshine Stars, one of the surprising teams for me this season, and seeing Edith Agoye in charge of that team as well. Niger Tornadoes at home to Wiki Tourist. Lobby Stars have their game against Rivers United postponed, and Enyimba hosting Nasarawa United. Before we leave this discussion, but really quickly here, Shooting Stars and Plateau United is the start of the second standard didn't go well for Shooting Stars in their last game. I mean, it practically continued from where they stopped from the first standard. But are we to expect redemption at home against Plateau United here?
I don't think so. I think the least they could get is a draw.
Draw?
Yeah, that's the least they could get. I mean, it's just appalling. But if they have to start the second standards with a win, it has to be this home game. But I don't see it happening. I mean, Plateau United are third on the log. And how would they do it? Well, it's never impossible, but then they have to give it all they have and start it today, I mean, at home. But without that, I don't even see them getting even a draw.
Anyway, the Oracle has to watch his back at this point because
we're just 3 points away from relegation. If Nasarawa United wins today and we lose, then there's trouble.
But if there's anyone to turn around the fortunes of this club, I can't think of anyone other than the Oracle himself. So
yeah, I think it's going to take time. That's why all I'm asking from them is just to escape relegation this season. Okay. Rebuilding doesn't take just one season. It's something that you do over years. So let's stay in the MPFL this season, then let's start consolidating from next season.
Okay, stay in the MPFL and consolidate from next season. Away from there, let's go outside of Africa now in Nigeria. Javier Reina has resigned as the head coach of Saudi Arabia's men's team, but now he's set to lead France to the Women's World Cup this summer. He has never led a women's team before, but he says that this offer came from the French Federation, and they discussed with everyone, behind the scenes, and thought it was a good opportunity for him to take charge of the French women's national team. And the French Football Federation are hoping that the players who have boycotted playing for the national team under the former manager will change their hearts, change their minds, and make a return to the team. And the captain or ex-captain Wendy Renard, alongside Kadidiatou Diani and Marie Antoinette Katoto, are one of those players who have criticized the French system as they step back from international duty. So maybe they will retire themselves to take part, to be part of this.
So sorry, why not sack Passero and bring her very nice? He has won the Nations Cup with Zambia.
Why would you sack Passero and risk paying huge amount of money, Daniel?
Honestly,
you have to think of the big picture. It's not always about the shot.
No, I'm not thinking of the shot. I'm thinking of the yes.
No,
I mean you ask yourself,
Daniel, you already owe this man 10 months salary. If you sack him now, how much do you think is going to sue the NFF?
Look. If we are to sack Pesaro right now, we are talking about a $1.5 to $2 million settlement.
Apart from the salary that you have to pay.
So, and we already owe him. We already owe him about 700 million in. So let's
700 million, 700,000.
700 million naira.
Okay, naira.
In salary. So
let's take a very quick commercial break, guys. When we return, we're going to be going straight into the Premier League to talk about these two men who have been inducted into Premier League Hall of Fame. Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger. I wonder why they weren't the first ones to be inducted, but we'll talk about that when we return from this break. You can take our numbers down so you can call us. It's 09155 1055, 08256 998678, 0706 949 3000. You can also find me on our social media platform where we're streaming live. We'll be back in a bit.
Splash FM 105.5.
ẹ̀yin ọmọ yìí ó máa dá àkàrà nǹkan díẹ̀ sílẹ̀ fún Ramadan yìí. Ó yá kí ni kára.
Èso. Ewébẹ̀, ẹ má gbàgbé ìṣara lóore àwọn màmá o. 3 crowns milk.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́ta.
Rárá o, 6.
Ó dáa. Torí kó jẹ́ màmá, á ra agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́jọ.
Ìṣúra aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ làwọn màmá. Torí náà, fẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn sí màmá pẹ̀lú 3 crowns milk lákòókò Ramadan yìí.
3 crowns milk, ìlera àwọn màmá, ayọ̀ ẹbí.
Honey, must you go?
Babe, you know I must. Besides, you can always video call me.
Hey, what if your battery runs out?
I've got my power bank.
Hey, and when your power bank runs out?
Babe, I've got my laptop.
Okay, wait. What if your data runs out?
Babe, you know we never run out of data.
Never run out of data with Airtel Home Broadband Unlimited Ultra plans. Enjoy unlimited data with no speed cap plus extra data daily, so you never have to worry about running out. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to get started.
Babe, but I just left the house.
Yes, honey. It's video calling all the way.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Màámi, ṣé gbogbo ife Bonvita ilẹ̀ fẹ́ pín?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ó ṣàmọ̀ pé àkókò yìí ní ṣe pẹ̀lú nǹkan pínpín.
Torí ẹ̀ ní Bonvita ṣe ń pín 50 gíráàmù lórí ìdí alátùrọ̀ onígíráàmù 104 kọ̀ọ̀kan. Àwọn ife wọ̀nyí á jẹ́ ti bọ̀dá Musa, alábàágbé wa, ìyàwó wọn, Uncle K.
Lákòókò yìí, ẹ jẹ́ gbádùn àfikún 50 gíráàmù lórí ìdí Bonvita alátùrọ̀ 104 gíráàmù tẹ́ bá rà. Ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí àfikún ìṣaralóore dídára ti Bonvita. Bonvita, ó kún fún èròǹgbà rere.
Iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná a máa fúnni ní ìmọ́lẹ̀ a sì máa mú ìdẹ̀rùn wá láti wá dènà ìjàmbá iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná. Ojúlówó wáyà tàbí kébù ló yẹ ká fi fa iná nínú ilé, lọ́fíìsì àti nínú ìlú. Purchem wires and cables ní àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ mọ̀nàmọ́ná àti àwọn agbaṣẹ́ṣe yàn láàyò. Ojúlówó ni, kì í bó lára, kò kì í jóná àbáàdì, kì í kán sínú, ó sì fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀. Ìdí nìyí tí Standard Organization of Nigeria fi fòǹtẹ̀tẹ̀ tí Nigeria Electrical Contractors náà fi dìbò fún. Bí copper cable ṣe wà ní aluminium cable ń bẹ nípele lówó tí kò gún pa. Purchem wires and cables tó jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ Kaman ló ṣe ojúlówó wires and cable jáde. Olú iléeṣẹ́ Purchem wires and cables limited wà ní Afrin's compound 4th gate number 122/132 Oṣòdì Apapa expressway Ìyànà Ìsọlọ̀ bus stop Lagos. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ní 080-803-03257. Purchem wires and cables. Ìrọ̀rùn fi iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná.
Your body what it needs, ain't nourish no. Happy Cowbell Day, creamy goodness so.
Cowbell Evaporate
evaporated milk is delicious milk that is carefully formulated to retain its creaminess and great taste.
So creamy, so good.
Cowbell evaporated milk. So creamy, so good.
As I get belle so, I suppose to dey take care of myself to make my body dey kakaraka.
Okay na, if you wan make you and the pikin wey dey your belle tranga well, make you dey take iron and folic acid medicine every day when you get belle. When you take iron and folic acid, your blood no go short and the pikin wey dey your belle go dey do well. Plus say make you dey visit health center wey near you for antenatal care. Dis message na from Henry Project, Oyo State Ministry of Health.
eléyìí fún Yakubu, èyí fún Rasaki, fún Ahmed, fún Aisha, fún Khadija, fún.
Brahimo, ṣé o tún ti tó oúnjẹ ni? Kí ni gbogbo oúnjẹ yìí wà fún?
Wò ó Taofik, mo ti pinnu láti wọ inú oṣù Ramadan yìí lọ́nà ọ̀tun nípa pípín oúnjẹ sínú Peak Yogurt Drink pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi aláàwẹ̀.
Èrò tó dáa nìyẹn. Ìtọrẹ àánú dára gan-an ni.
Òdodo ọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ gba ìtura lákọ̀tun nínú Ramadan yìí pẹ̀lú Peak Yogurt Drink tó ní àkọ̀tun wàrà màlúù nínú.
Peak. Reach for your peak.
àti ṣí o àti ń ta o ṣọ́ọ̀bù alálùbáríkà tèmídìrẹ ultra modern market gbági market extension.
Golden Bricks Realty and Investment Limited àjọṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tó ti ṣàṣeyọrí tó lóòrìn tèmídìrẹ ultra modern market and shopping mall ọjà gbági tuntun phase 2 wẹ́mà ìwó road Ìbàdàn àti ṣí àti ń tàwọn shops yẹn báyìí o. bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́jà títà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ ní pẹ́rẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ra aṣọ ńláńlá àǹkárá lẹ́sìn gíní báàgì àti bàtà ṣọ́ọ̀bù tẹ́tí lè rọ jíjẹ wa ń bẹ pẹ̀lú. ìjọba ló wà lókèétì ẹ̀. ààbò tó gbógun bẹ́ẹ̀ ń bẹ tọ̀sẹ̀ tó rú wọn gbẹ́ bọ́ ò síbẹ̀. wọ́n tún kọ́lé ìgbọ̀nsẹ̀. bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ̀ la títí yípo bẹ̀. ó tóbi ó pọ̀ ó fẹ̀. ó yẹ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fẹ́ rẹ́ǹtì ní abẹ́ fẹ́ ra ṣọ́ọ̀bù. èyí náà gẹ́gẹ́ tètè lọ gba fọ́ọ̀mù báyìí. ní Ministry of Trade and Investment room 56 Secretariat Ìbàdàn. wà láyé lẹ kúrẹ́rẹ́. ẹ pè 08028834320 àrètí yín lọ́jà tèmi ní rẹ̀ gbági tuntun ìlú Ìbàdàn.
ẹ̀yin ọmọ yìí ó máa dá àkàrà nǹkan díẹ̀ sílẹ̀ fún Ramadan yìí. ó yá kíni kára.
èso. ewébẹ̀ ẹ má gbàgbé ìṣara lóore àwọn màmá o 3 crowns milk.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́ta.
rárá o 6.
ó dáa torí kó jẹ́ màmá àárà agolo mílìkì 3 crowns mẹ́jọ.
ìṣúra aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ làwọn màmá torí náà fẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn sí màmá pẹ̀lú 3 crowns milk lákòókò Ramadan yìí.
3 crowns milk ìlera àwọn màmá ayọ̀ ẹbí.
Splash FM 105.5.
Okay, home stretch of Just Football this afternoon, and in another few minutes we'll be bouncing out of the studio. Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson, guys, the first two managers to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And responding to that, as Alex Ferguson said, it's an honor when you receive recognition like this. However, it is not just about me as a person. It's about the job at Manchester United and the bond we had over many years. And for Arsene Wenger, I said, I'd like to be known as someone who loved Arsenal, who respected the values of the club and left it in a position where it can grow and become even bigger. For Arsene Wenger, I dare say there were many people who thought Arsenal was named after that man. I mean, because of the name.
I also I thought it was the owner of Arsenal.
But what do you make of this news, guys?
Well, I think well deserved, actually. I mean, both managers managing over 800 games, in the Premier League. Arsene Wenger 828, Alex Ferguson 810. I think definitely deserved for both managers. I mean, if for anything, we would think that should have happened earlier than now, but then it's happening right now, and it's totally deserved for them.
Daniel.
Yeah, Femighty said it all. And it's just that, both of them were very, very good competitor. Yeah. They both, rather themselves. And it brings, more glamour, more beauty to the Premier League. And, of course, we expect both of them to be the first, two inducted. And well deserved.
Very well deserved for these two men. Arsene Wenger's Premier League record, 828 games, 476 wins, 3 titles, including the Invincible season, where he got a gold Premier League trophy for that. And for Alex Ferguson, 810 record games, 528 wins, and 13 Premier League titles. Hello, who's there? Hello.
Hello,
good afternoon. Yes,
Hello,
good afternoon. Welcome.
My name is Mr. Francis.
Mr. Francis, can you make this very quickly, sir?
Yeah. You see, I think when you look at the podcast of Iwobi, he was spot on. Because when you look at every national team abroad, they play their national team matches on a very particular field that the players are used to. In Nigeria, we rotate them because of political entity. Because a governor would just go to the NFF and tell them, well, I want the team to come and play in Benin, in go. Once these boys get there, they find it difficult to gel. And people who don't know much about football start blaming them. So definitely they should send that aspect. On the issue of footballers getting 1 million naira a month in this country,
10 million. Projected to get 10 million. Projected.
Yes. Okay, projected.
Yes.
There's no way it can happen. A very good millionaire in Nigeria, days fast, late Abiola, floated his club. And you saw what happened at the end of the day. A man who drove a bus from one side to one side in Kigali. Now what happened? The man pulled up that club. So definitely the government will keep on keeping Nigerian club side. There is no way we can get anywhere. Good afternoon.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Francis. I'm heading straight to Facebook before we leave the show today. Abiodun Faleye says our Super Eagles team should not be complaining most times. How do we manage to lose to Ghana? I guess that's what he wanted to say. It says develop your home base to match our foreign-based players. Okay, thank you for that. Abdul Aziz says good afternoon to you all. Salisu Yusuf, thank you very much. And then he's hailing Femighty, his guy. Hello, who's on the line? Hello. Yes, good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
I'm Mezzi. From
okay, welcome, sir. Your final call on the show today. I would like for you to keep this very, very short, sir.
I just want to say one thing.
Yes.
Our problem is not with the coach. The same thing that happened to the former coach happened to this one. Even if we want to sack this one and bring another one, what about the glass house that is always corrupt? So the problem is that the players should call themselves together, talk to themselves if they are to move forward.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for calling. Thank you for calling. I mean, if I had time, I would have asked him if we saw the result of that game ahead of time. But anyway, the one or two more comments on Facebook and then we have to leave. This is from Mr. Oguntokun says, good afternoon, Blessing Femighty. Playing at the MKO Abiola National Stadium looked like a away match to me. Number of fans doesn't speak volume. I agree. It says Nest of Champions has always been a good home for the Super Eagles in terms of result and support as well. And finally on the show, just one more comment and we leave. Ajetunmobi Mobido who says NFF board should be dissolved. They are the problem with our football. This board just took over. Anyway, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the show today, and we have to leave on the show right now. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Femighty, thank you for being here.
It's such a pleasure. All the best to Shooting Stars.
All the best to Shooting Stars. I'll be here tomorrow to talk about that and many more stories making the rounds in the world of sports on Sports Bang at 7:30. I am Blessing Fowowe. Au revoir.
Splash FM 105.5.
The message is brought to you by Cowbell Evaporated Milk.